Yeah, just it was a good bye week for us. Just getting an opportunity to get a little bit healthy and get some rest, and get a chance to self scout us a little bit and get ready for a really good Old Dominion team.
Coach, you said after the win over South Alabama that you felt that there was a few small areas y'all needed to work on. What exactly were those small areas, and do you feel like you got to where you need to be over those 2 weeks or that last week and a half?
Yeah, our execution still isn't up to par. A little more offensively right now, and it's a variety of things where it might be a route depth, it might be a split. Right, the passing game is based on timing and spacing. The spacing of a route, the splits where guys are supposed to be, and then the timing, which is created by the quarterback and his drop, and the receivers by their route depth. And if either one of those two things are off, your passing game you're gonna be off. And so you see that, and you work on it, and you work to correct it, and then obviously you put a defense in front of it, and then all of a sudden the guy went inside, should have went outside. A guy went 8 yards instead of going 10 yards. A guy goes 14 yards instead of going 10 yards. And some of those things start to happen, and then you work on it, and the next week it's a different defense. Now it's man coverage. Well, now you got to snap that one off, and that's a little bit different now. And so it's a process in the growth in the passing game, and when you play a game every week, and you have to game plan for an opponent, sometimes it's hard to work on all those little details for yourself, because you're also like, hey, now this is going in, you got to do this, and this is going in. So this gave us opportunities to, hey, let's just work this route, or let's work this concept, or let's do this. And so I felt like we were able to address some of those issues. Now, as I call it, in their bloodstream. Is it in their bloodstream enough that when all of a sudden the defense is in front of them and the pitchers move, can we execute at the level that we need to? It's to be unseen until it happens in the game. But I feel like we've addressed it and are working on that for sure.
Did you get a good sense of coming off a win? Obviously, was paramount for this program to get back moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
With the bye week and everything, you feel like there's more of a pep in the step around the program a little bit, and feeling a little bit more excited about what lies ahead, considering where you were going into Mobile.
Yeah, I think within our building there's never been a lack of that, to be honest. I think even going into the South Alabama game, our guys were excited about playing in the conference. I think anytime you get time off, they always have a pep in their step when they come back. They're feeling a little more fresh. They got a chance to see their families, get caught up in schoolwork, whatever it may be, to help alleviate some of the anxieties and stress in their lives. So, but yeah, I think we're in a good place right now. I do. I think we've had very spirited, energetic practices this week. And we need it. This is a good football team we're playing.
What have you seen from this ODU team on tape?
Yeah, they're executing offensively at a really high level. It all begins with their quarterback. He's arguably, probably right now, the front runner for Offensive Player of the Year in the way he's playing. They're the top offense rushing, the top offense in general. He's the second leading rusher in the conference and the first all-purpose yards in the conference. And so it all starts and stops with him. And we have to do a good job of containing the big plays against them, because they'll run it and hit you with some big plays over the top and get some good receivers. Defensively, they're the same system that we run, so we've had plenty of work at it. There are differences in it, minute differences in it, and how they do it and how they call it and when they call it. There are differences. So, but at least we've had some familiarity with it. So I like our plan. I like the way our guys have worked this week.
Coach, back to Colton Joseph, you were asked about him Monday on the Sunday teleconference. You actually chuckled and said, well, if you've given us any ideas how to stop him, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. But is he scarier as a runner or as a thrower?
He's been much improved in the throwing game. Last year when they threw him in, he didn't start the season, and they put him in, and he provided a spark for them and really got him going. But this year he's been very accurate with the ball. But he is very dangerous running. I mean, obviously the first play in Indiana, he went, I don't know, 80.
There seems to be, even though obviously he's playing very well, there are 4 interceptions next to his ledger, and you guys are coming off a game where obviously you had one of the best, if not obviously the best performance from a defense standpoint in turnovers. Do you look at that in the defense with opportunities that there are out there that he does throw interceptions?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes it's when they have to throw it, like if they're controlling the game and they can decide when they want to run it, when they want to throw it, he's probably more successful. If it's a situation where he has to drop back and throw it, or they have to throw it more than they want to, obviously you're going to risk the ball in the air more. So that can lead to some of the interceptions.
From a health standpoint, where are you in terms of that?
Good. I feel like we're better than we were going into the game. They're still questionable guys. We practiced today. We still have basically 3 days before the game. If Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday night. Up until Saturday night. So I feel comfortable that we'll get majority of them back.
You were a couple of the areas you were short in is offensive line,
Yeah.
tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, are you expecting to get some help back
Yeah.
in both of those areas possibly?
Yeah. I think both those areas we will.
You talked about Old Dominion's defense sort of mirroring what you guys run. What did you see from them last week against Liberty to hold them basically 200 yards? And how much did maybe the weather play in?
Yeah, the weather played a lot. Liberty really didn't throw the ball much. They played their second and third string quarterbacks off and on, and the weather was not good. They pressured a lot more because I think they knew they weren't going to throw it or couldn't throw it for whatever the reason, and so they loaded up there pretty good and to stop the run, and so they were able to have some success. The key, if you watch them, they jump out early. They get out early, and then they can kind of control the game. Their defense it's a good defense. You have to be patient. You have to take what they give you. I talked to our guys about that. You have to be patient playing this team.
Coach, I'm curious, what do you have Grayson McCall doing? He's been too busy for over a month now for a 10-minute interview. I'm frankly worried about his well-being with such a hectic work schedule.
Grayson, come on. I love Grayson, man. He's doing such a great job, but they do. They, obviously these guys help coach. We try to teach them what that's like, but they also do all the breakdowns. They're doing all the stuff, watching the tape, doing the scouting reports, putting all that stuff together. And it's funny, so even though we're getting ready for Old Dominion, they'll start breaking down Louisiana Monroe like today and tomorrow. They start getting all that stuff ahead because on Sunday we dive right into it and we're ready. So they don't really get free time at all because they're in meetings, they're helping with special teams. They have to have scout team meetings and scout special team stuff. So all those guys, they do a good job. That's hence the life of the entry level, right?